What is going on, guys? In this video I explain why my second Amazon FBA product failed and how it turned out not how I expected, and the mistakes I've made from choosing this product and how you can learn from my mistakes so you don't make them. Let's get straight in. There's many reasons why this product actually failed for me and wasn't the ideal second product that I was hoping to launch from Amazon business. For example, one of the reasons was that I didn't really look into the product as much as I did for my first product. I felt like by doing product research every day, I just wanted to find a product, so I was kind of hurrying the process of just finding any random product, and that did have some sort of potential, but I didn't actually deep dive into it. For example, looking at the sellers that were actually generating 200 to 300 sales per month, how long they've been selling it for, what price they were setting it as, and these little things like that, and how many sellers are actually selling well on for that listing itself for that product. I didn't really dive into that, so when my product did arrive after 2 to 3 months, which obviously became too late as it was a long time and I didn't expect it to take that long, as there was many factors that taken into account that delayed the process. I should have done more research onto the product and maybe not rush the process of trying to find a product as opposed to trying to find a good product that is scalable and long term as well. The second reason why I feel like this product failed and didn't go as I expected was because, as some of you may know, I had to get past an Hazmat review from Amazon, and this is where Amazon checks whether your product is safe enough to sell in the UK market, because it's an electronic item. I didn't know about that. Had I gained a bit of knowledge or gain a bit of insight, I wouldn't have made a payment before actually getting approved from the Hazmat. What I did, I made the full payment from suppliers. They started and finished the production, and once it was done, I didn't allow them to ship it because it didn't allow me to give them the shipping details, because I had to get the product approved from Hazmat, which obviously took a month and a half, as it was a long process, and Amazon were quite tricky in terms of communication and getting it sorted. So that was a lot of waste of time, and it was a lot of potential that did affect my sales and just getting the listing started. The third reason I felt like this product wasn't great was that initially the sales were quite low. There was low competition, not that much demand. Although there were a few sellers that are actually selling well, there wasn't like a good 8 to 10 sellers selling consistently of 100 to 300 units of what I was looking for. And that's where the problem is, that I have received all my inventory now on Amazon warehouse. However, I'm not really selling that much because of the low demand and low competition, so there isn't actually that many people actually wanting this product, and it's not really selling well on Amazon. I should have looked into that, as I mentioned previously, and dive a bit more into it, so I know whether this product is great or not. All I saw was the top 2 or 3 sellers selling a decent amount, a good 200 to 300 units, and I felt that I can gain a bit of that market share, and that's why I went for it. And it was quite affordable as well. Like, it only cost me about $600-700, which isn't much in terms of ordering stock from China to ship it to the UK, and for the first batch of order. A really big mistake and a silly mistake I made was that I miscalculated how many units I actually ordered from what I expected to have ordered, if that makes sense. So I thought that I will have 250 units on my product, and that would include the bundling and all that, but however it turned out to be 125 because I've got 2 sets as 1 unit of my product with a bundling product. And that would mean that, so I calculate as having 250 units, but it turned out to be 125 units. So all the calculations I made on the cost and the profits and the profit margins that I will receive from selling a product and the profit I'll receive, is actually wrong, because I calculated for 250 units, and as you can imagine, if you divide by 250 units, you'll get a smaller cost, and that would equal a higher profit margin. Whereas now, when I recalculated it on seeing how many units I've received and actually understanding what I actually did, I realized that I've only got 125 units, and therefore my cost has increased, meaning the profit margin will be lower. So I will still make a profit of about, I think, between about £2.50 to £3.50-ish. However, the profit margin I calculated before would be about in the range of £3.50 to £4.50 range. And obviously, if you sell more units, that makes a big difference. So that was a silly mistake I did, and I felt like I didn't really focus on the pricing that much, or I just didn't really understand it, and I should have been more clear to my supplier, or make sure that how many units my supplier is actually sending me, as opposed to just thinking I know how many units I was actually getting in return. That was a big huge mistake, and I recommend you guys to not make that mistake. Always be 100% clear on and be 100% sure on how many units you're ordering, even if that means looking stupid to your suppliers and asking them like 5 to 10 times just to confirm. But you'd rather be safe than sorry, and that is the number one mistake I would actually recommend you to not make, and just double check. So on top of all of this, knowing that my product is a failure and it will not sell well, obviously I'm not going to reorder the order, because I don't really see it making consistent sales, or enough that I want to actually continue. But I will also have to incur costs such as doing giveaways to actually meet the sales demand, or sales that the top sellers are actually selling. So they're selling about roughly about 4 to 5 to 6 units a day, so I need to meet that, and that will obviously, for me, because I will be using Viral Launch or Jump Send to actually set up the giveaways. So in order to actually meet the sales demands. Not just that, I'll need to do professional product photography, which will cost me about £50 to £100 of making about 5 to 6 photos, as well as PPC costs and all these bunch of costs that I need to actually get rid of this product and just try to hopefully break even, or make a small profit, which I feel like I can. But yeah, by the time I actually negotiate with my supplier, made the payments, got approved by the Hasma review issue, it took me a good 3 to 4 months for my products to actually come in, which is way too long. It should only take a maximum 1.5 months of actually doing product research to having your product in Amazon warehouse and start selling. So it did take me a lot of time. That's mainly because I was unaware of the Hazmat review, and as well as I was making a mistake of actually just delaying the process. I don't know if it was fear of failure, or just making the initial start, but I was replying to my suppliers like a day or two after they replied. I wasn't immediate of taking action, which was my mistake, and I don't know why I was behaving like that and why I did this, but it did affect me, because it did take 10 times longer than if I just taken action and stayed up an extra hour or two at night just to contact suppliers, as they'll be awake there, as their morning is our night. So if I had done that, it would have speeded up the process so much, and yeah, I wouldn't be in this situation. In regards to the Hazmat, and number one tip I would like to give you guys is always make sure you are approved for the Hazmat of the product before actually making a payment to the supplier. The way to do this is once you've are happy of actually going for the products, and at the stage of negotiating with your suppliers and are happy with the price, create your listing on Amazon, which shouldn't take too long, take maximum like an hour or two, and you don't need to make it perfect for now. And then Amazon will will state like an error if you have to get approved by Hazmat. And if you do, then just tell your supplier to provide you all the information. You can check my other video where I go more in detail what information you need to provide for the Hazmat review. But once you've done that, then tell your supplier to give you the information, and once you've been approved, then make the payment. And don't make it beforehand, because imagine if you made it beforehand and the suppliers manufactured all your products and they're ready to ship it, and then Amazon actually fails the Hazmat, so you can't sell the item in your market at your store. Then you're in a situation where you have like 200 to 300 units and you don't know what to do with them, because you can't sell it on Amazon because Amazon rejects it. You have to ship it to yourself now, because your suppliers made the products and they're not going to give you a refund. So you most likely have to send it to your address and then try selling like 200 to 300 units on eBay, or I don't know, to like another store. Or it's just a lot of hard work and a lot of unneeded stress that you have to take on. But if you just been a bit more patient and just a bit more aware of what you need to do, then it would just save you a lot of time and hassle. I feel like during this process that of finding my second product, or found my second product, I've learned a lot of key learnings that would definitely help me in the future of my finding a new product and just the way of I go about it. For example, one would be that be more patient. Don't rush into finding a product or just choosing any product. Make sure you actually find a good product, even if it takes you like a month extra, or just being consistent. You will find a product at the end. Just make sure it's right, because it's not worth it if you just jump into a product and start selling, because you won't actually succeed like that. So that's number one lesson. Number two is obviously the Hazmat. Make sure you get approved with the Hazmat, and make sure you know that back of your head that it will take like a week or so to get approved and get everything sorted, as it takes quite a while to communicate with suppliers from China as well as Amazon itself in terms of providing the right evidence for Hazmat. The third is that make sure your calculations are right. Sometimes it can get confusing to calculate for the units and the logos, all the shipments and all the other expenses. But if you're unsure, then ask someone else for help, or ask the Facebook group, other members, say your family, to help you with the calculations, or just take a bit more time to look into the calculation and see if it makes sense. Another learning is that make sure the sellers that are selling well, check how long they have actually been selling for, and I believe you can do that by using Camel website, or you can just look at the reviews and see how old the reviews are, like the oldest ones. And if it's the oldest one, like say in 2018 or 2017, you can see that they have been selling the product for 1 to 2 years at least. So that will give you a good indication of seeing how well the product's lifespan is. And also looking at the demand and the pricing, whether the pricing is feasible to actually make a decent profit, and whether the demand is actually high and quite consistent throughout the other sellers, and whether there's a gap where you can actually improve the product and actually gain a market share of that sort of category and products, as that is important, as you can't just go into a really highly competitive or really low competition product where actually you won't really succeed, or you find it so much harder to succeed. But yeah, that's the situation right now for my second Amazon FBA products. Right now I'm in talks with a photographer to take some professional photos on my product, as well as setting up some giveaways to actually start ranking up for my keywords, to rank up to on the first page, so I can start making some organic sales and just getting rid of these products and hopefully breaking even or making a small profit. And once I've done that, then obviously I will not continue with this product and just move on and finding a new product, which I have hopefully found, and I shall update you guys soon. but I can't stress enough to learn from my mistakes. Don't make these mistakes yourself. One of the reasons why I'm actually documenting my journey is to help you guys, as well as showing you guys the good stuff and the bad stuff of my journey on being an Amazon seller. But yeah, if you want to find out more about the Hazmat review, I have left the link down below on the video that I did on explaining what a Hazmat review is and how to get around it. If you did like this video, give it a big thumbs up and comment down below on where you are your Amazon journey, or have you faced any similar problems that I have, because for example you rushed into a product, or you just didn't check properly, or if you had any mistakes, then put them down below, how you overcame it, to help other people out.